Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BS with Bethany Simcoe. This is your host, Bethany Simcoe. Today is the second week diving into our little manifestation journey. It's kind of week one because last week was like the little intro, just getting into it, talking about what we're going to talk about, right? Just like the outline of the essay we're about to write. Last week was so fun to record, and I've loved the response. It's been so fun to hear you guys, hear your growth, like hear your enthusiasm about this. I received some DMs from you guys saying, I'm 30 minutes into the episode, it's so good, like I can't wait to apply this, like already I feel brighter, my energy feels higher. That's exactly like my goal with this. I just want you guys to feel brighter, more energetic. I want you to feel more powerful. So as you listen to this, just take all of this as empowerment, take it as a challenge, as a little bit of tough love, but also you've got this in the bag. This is easy for you. It's natural for you. And you know that by now. So this week has been amazing. I'm gonna give you like a tiny bit of like Bethany debrief really quick, give you the tea, because last night I walked in a fashion show. Are you kidding me? Guys, that has been a dream of mine since like a baby child girly pop, being out of the womb. I was like, that would be so cool. But also in my mind, I'm like, well, that's so cheesy. Like literally every girl wants to walk a runway. Like what girl doesn't want to be a model? Are you kidding me? So I almost downplayed my little dreams like that. Not my little dreams, my big dreams, okay? I kind of was downplaying those dreams of mine. And like literally 4 days ago, someone texted me and they were like, hey, do you want to come walk for Bumble? It was the girl that I invited to come be a vendor at my Hawaii workout event. It was Immerse Bikinis. And so Carly texted me saying, hey, do you want to come walk for Bumble? And I go, in what world do I not want to walk a runway for Bumble? Yes, I do. So I got on my cute little jacket. I got on my cute little sunglasses. I got my umbrella and I walked myself down that runway. They gave us hardly any instruction. They just said, go, pose and go. And they did tell us what to pose. Like I had never done that in my life, but when I tell you my soul was on fire afterward, I was like, that was absolutely so much fun. I was glowing. I was on a high after that. The adrenaline was pumping. My hands were straight shaking. Don't get me wrong. I was very nervy, but it was so much fun. That's something I want to do again. When's the next one? Get me on the runway. Get me on that red carpet. Where are we going? Paris Fashion Week? Like, hit me up. Literally, who do I call? Do I call them or do they call me? That was really fun. That was just like a really cool bridge of incidents to bring to pass a dream that I had hardly even let myself dream. And it's just proof that the universe is always working for you, always working for every single one of us to bring our wildest dreams to life. I truly believe that the universe finds joy in that. It finds a freaking kick out of seeing us light up and see us so freaking happy. Instances like that really encourage you to keep dreaming, keep hoping, keep finding that joy, keep trusting. Emphasis on keep trusting. It's the entire point of manifestation. Learning how to trust. Learning how to find joy in your day-to-day life because you already know that everything you want is coming to you. You literally are drawing it in, you're attracting it. Manifestation, law of attraction, all of that is just teaching you to trust, teaching you to say, hey, I've got this. And the calmer that I can be, the more bliss and joy I can find in my life, the quicker these things come to me, the crazier these things come to me, because they're always going to come in a way that is unpredictable to you. And it's always going to come in a way that is delightful to you, in a way that lights up your soul, in a way that lights you on fire, right? That little runway thing, that little dream of mine that I had never actually spoken into the universe because that's actually terrifying. And I'm like, no, that's too cheesy. It came across my path because your thoughts are never secret. Your thoughts are not private. The universe is always listening to your thoughts. You cannot think a thought in private. You know, those self-deprecating thoughts or thoughts of doubt or thoughts of dreams, thoughts of self-appreciation. None of those are private. They are always being listened to. They're always being taken into account. Your subconscious mind is always putting those into play. The universe is always taking those and arranging things for you. So that's why your thoughts are so important. That's why this entire process is absolutely so important that you make it a day-to-day practice, because you can't just learn the concepts and say, okay, got it. No, you have to learn and apply. This only happens and only works through application and only works through daily practice, where you are making your subconscious beliefs different every single day. You're making your neural pathways different every single day. And that is so much of what we're going to be talking about today. Really quickly, I just want to say, like, going back to like the runway modeling thing, then we'll dive into today's application because it's really all about finding the resources to drench your brain and make this a new neural pathway and make this a daily practice. But I feel like I've never seen girls that look like me on runways before and be called beautiful without being called eccentric or a little bit weird. And what I mean by that is like a big nose. And a lot of people, when I say that, will be like, no, you don't have a big nose, like it's whatever. No, I know I do. Okay, that's not something that I'm afraid of. It's not something I'm denying. It's a fact and I love it. It's who I am. It's what makes me me. I can't say that I haven't considered a nose job. I literally scheduled a consultation the second I turned 18 because I was like, I want this thing off of my face. And it has been a process of self-love, a process of learning to accept it, and it's continuous. There are days when I absolutely don't like it at all. And there are days when the hate comments online that tell me to get a nose job, that tell me that I'd be attractive if I didn't have a big nose. Yeah, they get to me sometimes. They absolutely do. And every single time that I'm triggered in that instance, it's another opportunity for me to choose to fall back in love with it because it's not going anywhere. I don't want it to go anywhere, first of all. And it's on my face. It's what you see when you look at me. And I love that. Like, this is the entity that is Bethany, and I embrace that. I love that. And you really do have to choose to love these things. You have to choose to embrace these things, and that's a lifelong process. So I get a lot of questions and a lot of DMs on like how to be confident. How do you embrace self-confidence? How do you like your nose? How do you be comfortable with your weight? How do you be confident? And you genuinely have to choose to, because you can choose to feed into the thoughts, oh my gosh, this is the worst, I hate it, I'm so ugly. You are only what you think you are. If you think that you are ugly, if you think that this feature on you makes you so awful, if you hate the shape of your eyes, if you have a birthmark that you don't like, if you have something that nobody else has, or something on your face or your body is shaped in a different way that you don't want it to be, great. It doesn't matter. That's literally you, and you can choose to be confident about that, and you can choose to be insecure about it, but also like don't be hard on yourself if you are insecure about it, because that's so normal. People will tell you that, oh, everybody's too wrapped up in their own insecurities to worry about yours. That's not true. I don't think it's true. I think that people genuinely will look at you and judge you. People will probably look at you, and this is harsh, but people will probably look at you and think that you are ugly. They might look at you and think that you are average. They might look at you and think that you are beautiful. You have absolutely no control over that. They might look at you and be disgusted. That's the harsh truth. People look at me every day and are literally disgusted by my face. How crazy is that? Like, they look at me and go, I literally wish that this girl's face did not appear on my For You page because her nose is big and I don't like her. Wow, that has nothing to do with me. Absolutely not 1 ounce to do with me, because I have no control over the way that they think of me. I have zero control over their mind patterns and what they think is beautiful and what they decide to comment on. So it is going to make my life so hard and so miserable if I give in to that every single time and I go, oh, well, they think that I'm not pretty, so guess I'm not. That's such bullcrap, because that same exact person could have commented, oh, you're beautiful, and neither of those have to affect you. Someone's going to think you're beautiful and someone's going to think you're ugly. What do you think? Do you think that you are pretty? Do you like your face? Do you like your nose? I can choose to love my nose. That's what I mean when I say you can choose to be confident, because I know that people are going to say, Bethany, I love your nose. That is the most beautiful, regal, elegant nose that I've ever seen. Love the way it fits in your face. I love the way you carry it. I think you are stunning, gorgeous with that nose. And there are people who say, I don't really like it, or they don't have an opinion on it. It doesn't matter, because I love it. I have chosen to love it. I've chosen to look at myself in the mirror and pour love into my face and say, wow, I'm so glad that I was made this way. I'm so glad that this is what people see and think of as Bethany. I'm so glad that this is the way that I appear in this world. I am so glad that I take up space in this way in the world. And those are the things that are really going to help you step into something that feels a lot more like you. Step into something that feels a lot more full of life, because you are choosing to love every single inch of it. And I have never really seen girls that look like me on runways with a nose like this. And when I was young, I would always Google celebrities with big noses, just wondering if it was normal, because I didn't see it anywhere else. And I was called a witch growing up. I was called an elephant growing up. Like, people were not nice about it. And I knew that it was big. And I literally thought that my curse in life was just I was going to be ugly. I was like, oh, I guess God just created me to be ugly so that I could develop other talents and find other ways to be useful in this life. Like, I genuinely thought that my purpose on this life was to just be talented and be smart, because I obviously didn't get blessed with looks. Like, it's like so depressing to say that out loud, but now I've kind of grown into my face a little bit more. I've kind of grown into my beauty more, and I've accepted it. I've curated it. I love it so much. But as a kid, I really, really did not think I was beautiful at all. I thought I was quite ugly, and I just thought that's how life worked for me. I just thought I had to develop other talents. So seeing girls like me on a runway that aren't on the world's ugliest celebrities list, because when I would Google those celebrities with big noses, it'd be like top 5 ugliest celebrities, and they would all have these big noses. And in TV, like, the people with big noses are always the villains. They're always the ugly stepsister. They're always something that isn't the main character who you're following along and falling in love with. It's always somebody that you're just annoyed by, someone that you're disgusted by. I don't know what it is about a big nose. Like, it literally is just something that helps you smell things. I don't know why that's become a symbol for ugly and gross. It's really weird, because it's genuinely just something that you smell things with. Like, how crazy is that it has become something that has made a connotation of ugly, weird, and gross? And that's something that I've had to unlearn in myself, because seeing those top 5 ugliest celebrities list and they all are just dogging on their big nose, or looking at Leah Michelle, because like she's who I was told I looked like growing up, seeing people be like, oh my God, she's so ugly, I literally can't stand looking at her. Like, seeing all these articles and like Reddit pages, I would just read those. Just seeing that was so hurtful. Even like Barbara Streisand, you know, those celebrities that looked like that, people kind of tore them apart, and they were like, oh, they're only beautiful because they're confident, and they're only beautiful because they really accept it. How about they're just beautiful because they are beautiful? So being on that runway last night, feeling gorgeous because I'm gorgeous, and not, oh, she's so pretty because, you know, she embraces the confidence of having a big nose. No, babe, I am just beautiful. I am just confident, not despite my nose, just I am, you know? Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent, but it was a really good night. It was so fun. It was so fun to embrace that, and I can't wait. I literally see a vision for myself, like having pictures in Sephora. That is a huge goal of mine, to have my face in Sephora and have young girls look at me and say, my nose looks like that. That is so pretty. She looks so beautiful. I'm beautiful. Like, I just want, oh, I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited. That's a huge vision for myself. Anyways, let's actually dive into how to start changing your neural pathways, start drenching your brain information, and what those resources are. The best thing you can do for yourself as you're getting into your manifestation journey, which again, manifestation is just a fancy word for the law of attraction, which means that the things that you think and the things that you align with and identify with will show up in your life. So if you're thinking negative thoughts, you're going to have a negative life. If you think you're a victim, you're going to be a victim. If you think you're successful, you're going to be successful. If you think you're kind, you're going to be kind, right? So let's start giving you resources, because this podcast is great, but I want you to get to the source. I want you to get more information. I want you to get more pure information, because I can only relate to the things that I have taken from this, from my perspective. I want you to like dig your claws in. I want you to like feel what I'm feeling when I read these books. So the first thing obviously is Your Manifesting Bestie. She breaks things down in a great way. She goes all over all of the laws, like law of attraction, law of assumption, all those things. So she goes into those. She talks a little bit about like quantum physics, which is so imperative when you're talking about manifestation and understanding that time is not linear, that you are already experiencing everything that is for you. You're already experiencing your highest timeline. And again, that's a huge part of manifestation. The things that you want are not separate from you. And you will be your happiest, most aligned, most abundant self when you realize that your wildest dreams are currently happening. We're getting distracted, but back to, oh guys, this makes me so excited to talk about. I can't even handle it. So back to the resources. I will link all of these. Your Manifesting Bestie is amazing. The first book that I picked up that seriously changed so much of my life, changed so much of my mind, is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I took some notes on this book, so I'll read you a little bit of what I got from this book. But it basically is just diving into things from a bit more of a spiritual perspective. So if you're a spiritual person that believes in God, this is going to be really helpful for you. If you don't believe in God, that is okay. This basically is saying that like your subconscious mind is creating all things, and it relates it to things in a spiritual way, because people who believe in God and are very spiritual have a bit easier of a time associating things and letting things click with the analogies that he uses, but it really is a book that is open and available to anybody. It's so helpful. It is so beautiful. And it's teaching you that your subconscious mind creates your entire reality. It creates everything around you, and what you believe is what you are, is what you will see. This book is really what got me into my practice of affirmations, like actually into my practice, because we listen to affirmations, we read affirmations, whatever, offhand, doesn't matter. No, this is what got me locked in on affirmations, recording my own, listening to them, understanding that they are so freaking powerful, because you have to consciously change your subconscious thoughts. Now, this comes at it from a lot more of a spiritual side, and Dr. Joe Dispenza in all of his books comes at it from more of the scientific side on why this makes sense. But the power of your subconscious mind is basically gaining back control of your own brain. It is saying that my subconscious mind, you have to first of all respect and understand how freaking powerful it is. You have to then take that power and do something with it. So it goes over lots of examples and lots of stories about how people's brains have either made them incredibly successful or even killed them, which is crazy to say. But it goes over the story of someone that he knew who got misdiagnosed with cancer, and he actually ended up dying from what they thought was cancer, but he never had cancer. It was his thoughts, it was his brain that killed him, took him down the freaking dark path, because he was so scared that he had cancer that he convinced himself that he did, that he went down the whole path. Now, that's an extreme example, obviously, but then there are people who are so delulu, right, that something's going to happen and then it just comes into their life. And I loved one of the examples that he gave, that there was this incredibly talented singer, but every single time that she got up to perform, she couldn't, because she felt like her throat got tight and she got scared, and that she was really nervous and she couldn't actually perform. And it teaches you how to kick out that little voice in your brain and say, no, 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 Big Bethany's here. Big brain is here. It's big brain time. I'm taking over. I'm taking the subconscious mind. I'm making it work for me, instead of my subconscious mind keeping me in this loop of fear. No, no, no. You're done. I'm going to take over and tell you what to do. I am going to give my subconscious a task to do rather than let it run rampant. So the quote that I wrote down was, "Get out. Big me is going to sing." So big you is that powerful subconscious that has taken its command from your conscious mind. It's taken the command from the big you that is saying, here is what you are going to do. Subconsciously, this girl had done affirmations day to day. So I think that she had done it 3 times a day. She had this specific, I think he calls them prescriptions of affirmations. And I think the ones that she said was that I am in control. My voice is loud and clear. I perform well under pressure. I can sing in any sort of environment. She got very specific, saying that when she performs, she's going to perform well. And so she had instilled these subconscious beliefs. And the way that you instill these is by calming your mind, by clearing your mind, sitting still, and then either repeating or listening to, or both, or writing down these affirmations. This is a daily practice. She did it 3 times a day, which is a lot. I do this 1 time a day, and you guys, it works. It's so freaking crazy. But I loved this because I love to sing. And this was one that really resonated with me because I'm scared. Also, I literally just looked at my clock. It's 4:44. Wait, hold on. Sorry, angel numbers who? Okay, anyways, I love singing and I'm always so scared of sharing it, and yet it's my biggest, wildest dream. And so seeing the way that she sat down, reprogrammed her mind, cast the fear out, and then performed incredibly well, because she said, get out. Those fears that are in your head when it came time to perform, they came back into her brain because, they were a subconscious pattern. And she was able to say, no, get out. Big me is going to sing. And the big her is the one that had been repeating those affirmations. She switched tracks, she switched programming, and became somebody who was confident, became somebody who performs well, stepped into that identity that was already within her, because you have these desires and they are already within you. So I know for me that my desire to perform, my desire to sing and to create music that touches people in a way that really moves them, it's already within me somewhere. And I take courage from this, saying that at any point I have the choice and I have the control and I have the power to sit down, write out affirmations, repeat them every day, find a quiet moment to instill these beliefs into my subconscious, into my being, and then watch them come to pass when the opportunities come into play. Because you have to install these circuits now. You have to install these beliefs now. You can't just get to the point and be like, oh yeah, I guess I'll be confident now because something that made me confident is going to be confident. Nope, it's you. You are the one that makes you confident now. You are living your dreams now and feeling the feeling of living your dreams, even if you're in the crappiest of environments. It is what is going to bring those dreams to you. So I love the way that he tells you to interrupt your thoughts, because I deal with a lot of anxiety, and I know so many of us do. So for the girlies that deal with a lot of anxiety, I love the way that he attacks it in this. Not like attacks you with the anxiety, but like attacks the anxiety and gives you the power back to say, stop. Like, he literally tells you to say out loud, stop. And I wrote down the quote, be still, be quiet. You cannot interfere. Talking to those rampant thoughts, talking to the intrusive thoughts, talking to the anxiety thoughts. You cannot interfere. I am in control. I am calm. You are subject to my command. So you are literally just commanding your subconscious mind, and that's what this book really goes into. So if you are someone who struggles with thoughts that are out of control, you are spiraling, your thoughts are constantly chaotic, I highly, highly suggest this book, because it teaches you how to switch a negative thought, how to identify that negative thought, because a lot of us, our negative thoughts are just slipping by us on a moment-to-moment basis. We don't even know that we're thinking a million negative thoughts a day. So teaching yourself to reverse a negative thought, to really click in and find a different track of thinking, is unbelievably powerful. If you consciously assume something to be true, even though it may be false, your subconscious mind will accept it as true and proceed to bring it to pass. That's how results are found, by consciously switching your mind and saying, this is what I am capable of, this is what's coming into my life, this is who I am. Then your subconscious takes those and says, okay. Your subconscious doesn't have morality. It doesn't say, no, that's not possible, that's not good, that's bad, you can't do that. It doesn't give a crap. It literally just listens to what you tell it to do. It is a soldier at your command. If you say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and you believe that, then your subconscious will work things through and bring you results. How? That is the beauty of it. The unknown is the beauty of it, because it works behind the scenes, aligning everything. Because once you understand that you are not separate from anything, this gets a lot easier. You release a lot of resistance. But how? But how? Girl, are you crazy? We're made of stardust. That's how. Like, literally everything in this universe is so connected. The fact that there are stars and planets and plants and people all created from atoms, from matter, of course we're all connected. Of course the universe is working in the most insane, beautiful, intricate way, because none of it is separated from each other. So your subconscious is my subconscious, is everyone's subconscious. Like, getting deep into it really helps you release that resistance of, but how? It's not to your understanding. And that's what's so cool. It's not to our understanding, because I think that so many of us have been taught that everything happens in a linear, physical way. One of the biggest things that I've had to release is that doubt and that fear and that resistance, because there's so many miracles and wonders on this earth. Like, if you think about it, how in the world do our brains even work? How in the world do all of our systems come together so beautifully, so magically, right? And of course there's something deeper to it. A few more things on this book. It talks about hetero suggestions and auto suggestions. Hetero suggestions are things placed on you by other people, things that other people assume about you. As a kid, these are very prominent. Your parents tell you that you are being loud, and you go, oh, I'm loud. Your parents tell you that you are smart. Oh, I'm smart. Any limiting belief or any lack mindset, if your parents tell you, oh, we don't have money, you go, oh, we don't have money. And that becomes a belief. And that belief brings to pass results. So if your belief is that you don't have enough money, you will always not have enough money. If that belief got instilled in you that you're smart and that you just excel at learning information, then you will do that. And it's because of that hetero suggestion. And that suggestion was placed on you, but it was your choice to accept it. And as a kid, I mean, you obviously don't have a whole lot of a choice, because your subconscious mind is so open as a child. You don't have a lot of buffer. You don't have a lot of ways to filter things out. So those things that you were told as a child are still sitting inside of your soul. They are still sitting inside of your mind. creating patterns, creating loops, creating neural pathways that are bringing things into your reality that are aligned with that. So the thing that he teaches you how to do is kind of how to reprogram those and how to auto suggest yourself things. If there is a situation that comes up that you have an automatic anxiety response to, that you have an automatic, oh, I can't do that response to, you have the choice to auto correct it, auto suggest yourself a different belief. I wrote down any limiting belief or lack mindset that was spoken to me as a child has no effect on me. My mind is embracing and embodying the new abundance and limitless potential that I am introducing. Abundance is becoming my normal state of mind and being. So even acknowledging that, yeah, I was taught limiting and lack mindsets as a kid. We all were. They were all like limiting things reprogrammed into our subconscious mind. That is okay. We have every power to take care of that, to auto suggest something new to ourselves. And that's the beautiful part of this. Taking that responsibility is amazing. So that's why affirmations are so powerful, because you are choosing what to believe, and by choosing what to believe, you choose what you experience. It also talked a lot about hypnosis. The reason that hypnotized people act the way that they're suggested to is because that heterosuggestion is automatically implanted in them, because their subconscious or their conscious analytical mind that like filters things out, because that conscious mind is what chooses what to believe, it is shut off. So your subconscious mind is like, oh, this is the truth, let's do it. So basically this entire process, this entire book is about choosing consciously what to program your subconscious with to get certain results in your life, to just feel better. So that is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I will link that. I listened to it on Spotify for free. You can buy it, you can do whatever, you can listen to it on Audible. But the next book is The Power of Awareness. This one is by Neville Goddard. This is talking about the fact that you are nothing. You are I am. You are just a being. You are just an essence. You are just a consciousness. And saying I am confident, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am rich, those are choices. I am ugly, I am not smart, I am not motivated, those are choices. Saying that, oh, I'm lazy, that's a choice to believe that. Because all that is true, the only truth is that you are. You exist. That you are a being, that you have become a human being with, beliefs and things that have been put onto you. Those are all available to be shed, because the only thing that's true is that you are. Anything outside of that is extra. Anything outside of that is changeable. It's malleable. You are literally a potter, and this is your clay. You are your clay. The reason that anything is available to you is because, everything is energy. Everything is out there. Possibilities, the future, the thing that doesn't exist yet, the thing that's out there, whatever, that's just all energy, right? That's just all possibility. And everything that is available to you in this life is just a different arrangement of that. So if you say that, oh, like I'm lazy, that's just a different arrangement of things. If you say, oh, I'm motivated, then you're just arranging things differently in that way. And it's so cool to allow you to just shed all of that and just release that and say, okay, what do I want to be? I've been told these are the things that I am. What do I want to be? You are already an energy that can be molded into whatever you want, and we are not inherently anything. We only decide what to shape that energy into as we go throughout life. That's why your self-concept is literally everything. And that's why, like, the program we're going to be doing after this, where we dive into the day-to-day self-concept work, it is honestly the most beautiful, imperative work you will ever do. Because figuring out how to shape yourself, figuring out what to do with that essence of I am, who are we adding on to that? What are we adding on to that? What are we becoming? How are we molding this? That's a daily practice. It's something that you have to really work at, because it's kind of hard, but it's so beautiful. And anything material and physical is just a product of your consciousness. Everything you are seeing right now is just a product of who you think you are. It is just a product of your thoughts, for better and for worse. If you hate your life right now, if you love your life right now, good. You have the power to change whatever that is. So if you are overwhelmed by that, that's okay. It's just a process, one freaking day at a time, and it's available to everybody. It's not just reserved for some people who are good at it, some people who are naturally gifted at it, some people who have more self-control or have a better time manifesting or more spiritual than you. No, dude, it's just your thoughts. And there are no limits. The words that you speak to yourself are the only limits. What are you going to speak to yourself? Who are you going to be? The only limit is what you allow yourself to think. It also talks about how the universe around you has no choice but to conform to who you believe that you are, because again, the things that you think attract the same level of those things. If you're thinking like good thoughts, those good, happy things are going to come into your life. It's the analogy of if you've got red glasses on, you are going to see the red things. If you're looking for red things, you're going to find red things. If you're looking for happy things, you're going to find happy things. And then those happy things are going to compound on top of each other. And it's even deeper than that. Like, yes, it is what you are observing, but it's also the things that the way that you're reacting, the way that you're interacting. So assuming that you are already that person allows that to become the dominant thought pattern. Again, we've talked about that before, but I'll talk about it one more time. The neural pathways in your head are only habits. You are only who you are because that's a habit. It's what you've taught yourself to be. It's just a neural pathway that exists because you've thought it so many times. And by changing that, having different thoughts become your dominant thought patterns are going to change who you dominantly are. It's going to change the life that you live. It's going to change how you feel. It's going to change literally everything. And that starts with, again, affirmations. They're selecting a new reality and speaking them with emotion as if you're already experiencing it. And that is pivotal, you guys. The emotion of it is huge. Feeling that emotion as if it's already happened. I am abundant. I earn $10,000 a day. I walk with humility and gratitude even though I'm a millionaire. I am living all of my wildest dreams. Everything that I think comes into reality. Every good thought that I think comes into fruition. My mind accepts abundance as its subconscious resting state. My mind accepts happy thoughts. My mind does not analyze things. It allows me to experience joy while it brings everything to me. Saying those things and then like feeling them, that's the key. It's gonna feel amazing. That's why we are so powerful. That's why affirmations are so powerful, because your brain begins to believe that you are already living that, and then it starts to bring those necessary experiences to align with it, and boom, you're there. Honestly, this change comes pretty dang quickly once you start to really get in there. Like, it's one of those things that it's the latent potential, right? It just kind of builds, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, what is happening? And synchronicities start to align, and it is so beautiful, because the only thing that is limiting you is your thoughts and your assumptions. So even if they're false, you say, I am like something crazy. People have done insane things. I am living my summer in Bali and I don't have to work a day in my life and I am taken care of. If you start to live in that, start to think of that, start to organize affirmations around that, organize your brain around that. The quote that it says is, your assumptions, even false, if persisted in, will come into fact. So even if what you're saying is absolute bullcrap, if you persist in that thought, if you believe it, if you are so persistent with that thought, it will become a fact. It has no choice other than to become a fact. Like, your subconscious mind is a little soldier ready to take on anything that you tell it to, and it is going to bring that to pass. Again, it doesn't give a crap what it is. If you say that you are miserable, it'll be like, yes, ma'am, let's be miserable. If you say that you're the most joyful, successful, abundant person, it says, yes, ma'am, on it. Let's freaking go. It doesn't care. You give it a command, it brings it into fruition. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're there. So your self-concept is all that you assume to be true about yourself, and then you take on the results of that state. That is, it also talks a lot about imagination. This book calls it imagination. It's talking about like everything that you can imagine comes into fruition. Literally, it's just telling you to dream freaking bigger. Like, whatever you're dreaming right now, bigger. Whatever you think, go bigger. And You Are the Placebo calls it energy. Either way, you cannot lastingly affect your life with matter. If you are someone who's like, I'll just work really, 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 really hard. You've seen people who've worked their booties off and don't get much of anywhere, right? It is all about your beliefs and your energy, and the hard work isn't going to work and grinding. The hard work is changing what you believe. Also, I do want to say that all of these books really emphasize emotion, and I love the way that Becoming Supernatural actually teaches you how to feel that emotion. That's probably my favorite book that I've read so far. I'm only halfway through with it, but it has been amazing, genuinely insane. One of my favorite quotes from The Power of Awareness is that imagining without emotion is just a futile daydream. Genuinely, like, if you're just repeating these affirmations with no emotion, girl, they're just words. You gotta feel that. You gotta get in there and say, no, this is my new reality. And the placebo effect, the You Are the Placebo explains more about the energetic reasoning behind this. And you can't create the law of attraction. You can't create magnetism. It's already happening. It's already there. Your entire life is a result of it. And you're just choosing now how to actually implement that rather than being a victim to it. The third book that I read is The Law and the Promise. I believe this one is also by Neville Goddard. And I don't know why, but I didn't love this one. I think that it just really repeated most of everything from The Power of Awareness. And again, it's all about manifesting, all about imagination, telling you to dream bigger, imagine things in a very realistic sense. And this was the book that I really tried to follow when I was trying to manifest my apartment. And I got super, super specific because it told you to get super, super specific. And I didn't get the specific thing that I wanted. But I got something that aligned with the energy of what I wanted. I wanted somewhere that felt like home. I wanted somewhere that would bring laughter and enjoyment and success and abundance in my life. I wanted somewhere that felt bright. I wanted somewhere that gave me new opportunities, and that's exactly what I got. So I wrote down what I wanted in a new home, and that's a beautiful, amazing thing to do. And then I got really specific about which home that I wanted, and I didn't get the specific home. So I'm still going back and forth on how much I love this book because it's telling you to get super freaking specific, and you're going to get that super freaking specific thing. Like talking about, oh, this person wanted this exact painting, and all of a sudden it appeared in their life. And I'm like, well, I don't know how I feel about that because I actually want to be surprised. It does say that, you can't determine how you're going to get that thing, just what the thing is. Personally, I like to just leave it all up to chance. I like to say, here are the emotions that I want to feel. Here are, here's the energy of the experience I want to have. Here you go, universe. Here you go, subconscious mind. Make it happen. Ready, set, go. That's kind of what I like. So like The Law and the Promise also got a little bit weird at the end. It got strangely spiritual in a way that I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I really truly like believe in God, and when I talk about the universe, it's just another way of me saying God. But you can you can conceptualize this however you want. It got a little bit woo-woo for me. I'm not gonna lie. I really align and I really love the scientific part of things and explaining things through like a scientific mind. But I really do love how it encourages you to dream bigger and detail your reality and how you want to feel. So I think that one just really like locked it in. I think all that The Law and the Promise wants you to understand is that if this is a law and this is a promise, the things that you think will become your reality, you cannot get around it. If you act in this way, you will get this result. If you are energetically aligned in this way, you will get the promise. It is a law. It is a promise. I think that is beautiful. I think that's a great thing to understand. The next book is You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Guys, this book is one of my absolute all-time favorite books. It goes into things on a scientific level, which is really helpful for me to understand. It takes the woo-woo out of it, puts the science back in it, and you go, oh, that does make a lot of sense. So it begins by explaining that you are 99% energy. Because if you think about an atom, you've got the nucleus and then you've got the electrons around it. The electrons are so far away from the nucleus, and you can only figure out where in the world that electron is by observing it, right? You never know where they are until you try to lock in and observe it. And then all of that energy collapses into a certain point. Every reality that you want only becomes real once you observe it. What's between the nucleus and this electron? Nothing, right? Space. Energy. There it is. It's the energy, baby. You are 99.9999999% energy, because so much of an atom is just energy, and only like 0.00001% of that atom is actual physical matter, but they're just so freaking tiny that it just looks condensed and it looks real and it seems real and it smells real and it feels real, right? We all know how to experience our life on a physical level. We've all been there. We've done that for years and years. That's all we know. But if you think about like the quantumness of it, the quantum science behind it, that starts to take the woo out of it, because you hear, oh, quantum reality, quantum leaping. You go, excuse me, what does that mean? But it talks about the Newtonian laws and how it's only speaking about physics in a way that relates to matter and relates to the physical matter. And it begins to jump a little bit more into the quantum physics of it, relating to the energy between the matter, energy around it, energy within it, and how that is truly the key, and how that is going to influence a lot more around you than your matter can. Because if there's energy in everything, and if your energy can influence the energy around you without you having to do actually anything, that is infinitely more powerful than you walking over. Like, let's say you want something and it's between you and there, and you can just, like, you can go over there, you can knock on their door and you can ask for it, or you can say, I already have it. The energy within me is already influencing the energy around me, and then it just is drawn into your life, rather than you banging down the door, convincing them to give you this object that you want, convincing somebody to give you the job that you want by using your words and coercing them and being like, please, and begging them. No, aligning and saying, I already have this thing, will just bring it to you, because your energy is connected to everything around you, because everything around you is made of the same atoms that you are. So it's a lot more powerful than you walking your booty over and trying to get crap done with your physical reality. And I have to remind myself that all the time, because I'm a go-getter, I'm a doer, I'm someone who wants to just, if I want it, I'm just gonna go do it by myself and get it. And that leads you to burnout, and that's what makes it take 10 years to get successful. Because yeah, it's going to take like 10-20 years to become your most successful version of yourself if you're going at it in a way that is pedal to the metal grinding. Or you could go at it in a way that is so much quicker by influencing the energy around you, because that's 99.999% of everything. And that's going to be 99% faster, 99% easier than the 0.0001% of matter that you yourself can influence in a physical, with your hands, with your senses, with your eyes, with your abilities. I love the way that it talks to things on an atomic level about how changing your thoughts changes your literal vibration, because your energy and like the atoms around you are vibrating at a certain level, and by changing your emotion, you are quite literally vibrating at a different level. And the things that are vibrating at like this higher level are going to be attracted to you. You're on this plane up here, rather than, if you can't see the video, I'm like, my hand is above my head, like you're vibrating up here and you're attracting all the things in this high level. But if you're vibrating down here, which means a low energetic state, low emotion, that's low vibration, then you are only attracting things in this low state. And they're going to be things that don't light you up. They're going to be things that perpetuate this victim mentality, things that are only second best, that, you know, solidify those thoughts that you're only ever going to be half as good as you want to be. You're only ever going to be second best. You're only going to get a crappy job, and the people around you are never going to like you. You're going to keep getting that crap, because that's low vibrational crap. Once you decide, I am the most energetic, abundant, wonderful human, everybody loves what I do, I am the best at what I do, everybody appreciates me, I feel very aligned in what I do, everything that I try for aligns beautifully, I am just so effortless with it, then those things, like once you start to feel that, you're up here, and then you have access to all of these things. You have access to influence, you have access to abundance, you have access to success and affluence, because those things are up here, and then they just come to you. You can't get those things if you're down here. You have to like climb that little ladder and just fight for it, rather than just living and experiencing it. And I love that it says that you can't make a lasting impact on your life if you are feeling low vibrational feelings. By changing your thoughts, you change your feelings. And going back to those neural pathways, right? Those are the things that are going to keep you in a loop. You have thought this same exact way. You have thought of yourself as a certain way for your entire life. Let's say a lot of your identity, for me, a lot of my identity is about internal unworthiness and guilt. I have a lot of like shame and guilt and internal unworthiness, and it makes me want to prove things to people. It makes me think that, oh, what I'm doing is not good enough because I'm inherently shameful, I'm inherently guilty, I'm inherently unworthy, and so I have to perform in a certain way. I have to fight for things in a certain way. I have to prove things in a certain way. And that loop is only a loop because it's been taught to my brain. And right now, my journey that I'm on is unlearning that. It is, instead of saying, oh, I am unworthy and I need to work harder, it's saying I am already good, and the things that I'm doing are only building on that goodness. And once you stop having something to prove, you change. Once you stop needing to prove that you are worthy, that you are not lazy, that you are good, then you stop fighting to prove that you are good. Then you stop fighting be the biggest and be the best, because you know that you already are. You know that you are already good. You know that you already have everything. And that's the power of changing those neural pathways. So that pathway that is saying, let's talk about like my eating disorder, for example. In my eating disorder, a lot of that comes from, I am inherently not good and I am inherently lazy and I don't have self-control. So I have to overcompensate by being super controlled, by saying I can only eat these things, and that loop continues. By changing that, I can tear myself out of that. I can say, no, we're not doing that anymore. Let's change these thoughts. And it goes back to affirmations. Those affirmations are choosing the new thoughts that you want. I am inherently good. My body responds well to anything that I put in it. I love giving myself energy. I love eating foods that make me feel happy. I love eating food that makes me feel energetic. I love the way I take up space in the world. I love who I am. I love the way that I appear. I love the way that I act. I love the way that pouring that love into yourself changes it. I am inherently good. There's nothing I have to do to be good. There's no one that I have to be good. I am good. There's no certain way that I have to eat. I can eat however I want because my body responds well. My body takes exactly what it needs. Those are just such beautiful thoughts, rather than everything I eat is not good. Eating too much is not good. Eating too little is not good because I am not good. You can't win like that. You literally cannot win, because who decides what is too much? Who decides what is too little? Who decides what's skinny enough? Who decides what's, booty fat enough? Who decides what's fit and healthy? Who decides what is a good, perfect body? And I'm just using this example because this is something I've really struggled with. Who decides that? There's never going to be enough if it's not enough right now. Who in the world is ever going to decide that you are going to be good enough? Because there's always more that you can be. You can always be more fit. If you're wanting to be stronger, you can always be stronger. You can always be smarter. You can always be happier. You can always be healthier. You can always be richer. And you will always strive and fight tooth and nail for those things unless you decide that you already are good enough. Unless you decide that you are already good and worthy inherently. That's my journey right now. Deciding that I'm already good and inherently worthy. So every morning when I wake up and I meditate, I release feelings of guiltiness, of unworthiness, of inherently laziness. And I say, no, I am embodying someone who is already good, who is already motivated, who is already everything she needs to be, who is already beautiful, who is already successful, who is already drawing all things good to her because she is already good. That's who I'm embodying. So this really teaches you how your thoughts can make you sick. They can make you healthy. They can make you anything that you want. And it goes into how your thoughts genuinely affect your genes and your gene expression. And the book focuses on an entire lifetime of healing, which I love. It's a lot more about the lifestyle of it and how your energy is affecting things on a lifelong scale rather than just like a one instance manifestation, which I love. And it's a lasting effect and it's beautiful. So most of the books by Joe Dispenza really talk about this same thing. The next thing that I read by him was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I thought it was a pretty good book. It wasn't quite what I expected. I expected it to tell me that, a little bit more talking about the neural pathways, talking about how everything in your life is just a habit. It does kind of talk about that. It talks about how the outcomes we attract to ourselves need to surprise and astonish us. It's that excitement and that surprise that encourages us to do it again, and how if you can predict an outcome, if you say, universe, I want this, and you say, universe, this is how I want it. No, that's predictable. That's a known. You can't know what it is because you're trying to move into a new person. You're trying to move into a new being. So if you can predict it, that means it's known, which means it's not a new person. If you can't predict it, that means it's unknown, which means it's a new person, and that's who you're moving into. So the things that you want will come to you, but not in a way that you can predict, and that's evidence that you are becoming a new person, that you're moving into a new timeline, and they're going to catch you off guard, and that is beautiful. That is evidence that it's working. So again, if you can predict an event, that means you've experienced it before, which means it's part of a routine, which means it's part of the habit of being yourself, which we are trying to break out of. And if you're trying to predict the outcome or flow of events, then that event is created by the old you. It's created by matter and not energy. It's going about it in that Newtonian way instead of the quantum way. So giving thanks for the thing that is already yours, that's why the energy and the emotion of it is so important, because you're giving thanks for the thing that is already yours. Time is not linear. The thing that you want is not separate from you, so why not feel the excitement of it? If you dream of winning a Grammy one day, live in that excitement. Walk around as someone who's won a Grammy. If you dream of being a research scientist, a mother with children who are well adjusted, who are happy, walk around knowing that you have already created that. Walk around knowing that you are already that person. How would they interact? Who are they? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves? You're already that person. It is not separate from you. And it's not, oh, walk around like pretending that's you and it will come to you. Yes and no, because as you walk around and pretend it's you, it will come to you. But the fact that everything is already happening in this same time and space, like it is not linear. Everything's a circle. You're already connected to it. Just embrace it now. Act on it now because it already is you. But again, if you think that you are broke, you will be broke. If you think that you only have barely enough for what you need, you will continue to attract those things. If you think that you are rejected by people, you will continue to find those things, because if you feel happy, you are asking the universe to prove why you're happy. Now, it talks about the feeling thinking loop. We've spoken about the feeling and thinking loop before, but let me just refresh your memory. So the feeling thinking loop is you feel an emotion. So let's say you wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, okay? You're up. You're awake. You're up and at 'em. Wake up in the morning feeling stressed, and it's just a feeling on your heart that's stressed, okay? So you wake up, you feel that stress on your heart. You're going to look for a reason to validate that stress. I'm stressed. I wonder why I'm stressed. Now, all of a sudden, your brain is looking for evidence of stress. And you're going to say, oh, I'm stressed because I got into a fight last night with someone that I really care about. And now I'm waking up and I'm like, oh yeah, like of course I'm going to be stressed. And now I'm thinking about that fight. So now in your head, you have a troubled relationship and you're stressed. That makes sense, okay? Feeling, and then you're thinking, and now you're thinking about that fight that you had, and obviously you thinking about that fight is going to stress you out further. So that thought is going to create a chemical cocktail that is going to create feelings of stress within your body. So if you can't see me right now on the camera, I'm like pointing to my heart when I talk about the feelings. That's kind of where it sits. Your feelings a lot of times will sit on your heart, and then it goes to your brain to start putting thoughts that align with that feeling. Your heart says, I'm feeling this way. My brain goes, okay, let's search for reasons as to why. Let's give us an evidence. Let's give us a trail, right? And then as soon as you start thinking those thoughts, those create more chemicals that go back to your body to make your body feel a certain way, to make you feel certain emotions. And then those emotions further charge more thoughts. That's why thoughts are so important, because you have to interrupt that loop. You have to stop those thoughts from saying, oh, here's why I'm stressed. This is what's going wrong. I don't like this. And instead challenge yourself and say, here's what is going right. I'm feeling this way, but what if I switch that? What if I tell myself that no, I am actually very blessed. I am loved. My partner loves me. He can't wait to work things out with me. I am cherished. I have a job that I'm excited to go to. People value me at work. I value my own work. I create good work. I do something that fulfills me. I do something that lights me up. I trust my own decisions. I am a trustworthy person. Starting to switch those thoughts, then that triggers new chemicals in your brain, which contributes to a new feeling in your body, right? A new feeling state. You can also go at it by changing your feelings, starting to tap in and radiate new feelings. But a lot of times it's really helpful to go in through your brain to start changing those thoughts to radiate new feelings. And then with these new elevated feelings, then you'll go, why in the world am I so happy right now? Why do I feel so peaceful? Why do I feel so blissful? And your brain will go, well, you're feeling blissful because you're so excited to go to work right now. You're feeling blissful because you know you're about to get your brand new car. You're feeling so freaking excited because your partner values you to high heaven. You're feeling literally so free around food because you already value your body. You go into your brain, you change those thoughts, and then the feelings come from that, and then that feeds into a positive feedback loop from good feelings to good thoughts to good feelings to good thoughts, right? Like just that whole loop. And that is so important. So these books are going to talk a lot about that and dive in a little bit further into that thinking feeling loop. That's also why a lot of people get stuck in a victim mentality. Breaking the habit of being yourself talks about how you get addicted to certain feelings. There are people who are addicted to victimization. who feel like they're the victim. Everything's going wrong for them. The world is out to get them. Who feel like they're addicted to maybe toxic situations. They're addicted to drama. Even though they hate it, they're addicted to an environment that is toxic for them, even though they want to get out of it. And they feel like literally the world is trying to get them. Everything goes wrong for them. Like today was the worst day ever. Tomorrow's gonna be the worst day ever. Nothing's ever gonna happen for me. That victim mentality, I have compassion for that. I absolutely do, because I've been stuck in that so many times. And it's hard to get out of that because you become addicted to it. The way that you feel becomes the way that you think, and the way that you think becomes the way that you feel, right? And like I said, is when you have a thought, it releases a bunch of chemicals. Now, your brain gets used to these chemicals. They say, okay, in the morning, I feel this chemical. When I interact with my partner, I feel this chemical. When I'm on a dating app, I feel this chemical. When I am stuck at a red light and late for the 17,000th time, this is the chemical that I feel. So when you start trying to break that, your brain's gonna go, actually, no, thank you. I'm used to this chemical cocktail. This is what I've been thriving on for years. So what do you think you're doing? Like, you're literally starving me right now. I literally feel like depleted. I feel like I'm not getting what I need. That's why your body and your mind start to freak out when you start doing this process. That's why people get really triggered. They get really frustrated. They get angry. They get annoyed. They feel like they're not capable of this because your brain is so used to being a victim. It is addicted to being a victim. So now that you're saying, I actually am abundant, things really are going well for me, maybe me getting stuck at this light and being late isn't because I'm a bad, lazy person. It's just because I'm used to being late. It's just because I'm addicted to being late. And it's nothing wrong about you. And when I say addicted and when I say like this addiction to it, it is not a moral thing. It's not a bad thing. It is just a chemical scientific thing. Just your brain trying to shift, trying to get used to new things. So when you experience this resistance, that's a good thing. That's saying that you are doing the right things to release new chemicals that your brain isn't used to. And that's a good sign that you're on the right track. That's what I mean when I say you have to learn a new way of being. That's what I mean when I say that you have to practice the experience beforehand. You've been practicing this suffering, this lifestyle, and I catch myself in this all the time. I'm literally just sitting in my car. My brow is furrowed, like my eyebrows are just tense, my shoulders are tense, my jaw is tense because my body thinks that it is just tense and suffering. And I just look for reasons to be upset and to be tense. And I wrote in my notes app, I am not suffering. Literally just that sentence for some reason is so helpful to me. I am not suffering in this moment, actually. Like there's nothing happening to me right now that is hurting me, that is harming me. The reason that I'm feeling like this tenseness, this suffering, this harshness on my chest is just because that's how I was taught to feel. That's just how I grew up feeling. That is just how I habitually feel. Doesn't mean I actually need to feel like that. Doesn't mean that's who I am. And a quote that I wrote down was, by remembering my suffering over and over again, I become the state of suffering. It's not even the situation. I am just suffering. And I have the neural connections of suffering because I've been remembering that for so long. Like you wake up and remember your situation. You wake up and remember who you've been, and you're worried about your body, your environment, your time. You're living in survival mode. So one of the other things that this goes through, and this also is a lot in Becoming Supernatural, I'll kind of dive in, I'll group this in. So Becoming Supernatural also speaks a lot about how if you pull yourself out of people, places, things, time, anything you can define yourself by your senses, you're nothing. And we went over this last time. You're nothing, which means you have access to everything. If there's nothing defining you, that means you can be literally anything that you want. And waking up and reminding yourself that, oh, I'm a person who suffers. I'm a person who gets stuck. I'm a person who gets overwhelmed easily. I'm a person who is difficult to be around. I'm a person who really feels stuck in their job or who doesn't win things or is always second best. That's just who I am. You're remembering that identity instead of creating a new one. And the reason that meditation is so freaking important, because Joe Dispenza talks a lot about different meditations. The reason this is so important to make time for every single morning is because one time in your day, if you just take one time and remind yourself that you are no one, you are nothing, you are no time, there is no space around you that can define you, and just sitting in that nothingness and allowing it, everything to just shed off of you for 1 second is such a relief. All of these things that are going on, all of this chaos, clearing your mind for 1 second and going, none of this is real. so what do I want? None of this actually matters, so what does? I don't want this, what do I want, right? And just allowing yourself to literally cherry pick your life from everything that you can have. And they call it the quantum field. So just cherry, or like the unified field, literally cherry picking what you want, because you are not anything or anyone unless you learn to be that thing. There's seriously so much more I could go into on this, and I will go into this more on our self-concept program, because I literally could talk about this for hours, and I've already been talking about it for an hour, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. But it's just about rewriting subconscious programs. It's about asking yourself, do you have a sense of inadequacy because you are inadequate, or because you believe that you're inadequate, because you practice the feelings of being inadequate? Are you preoccupied with your body because it's not a good body, or because you've practiced being preoccupied and hating your body? And it also talks about like the gap between you and your ideal self, and the self that you project to people, and the self that you actually are. Guys, it's such a good book. All of these books by Joe Dispenza are amazing. And Becoming Supernatural, again, I'm only in the middle of it, but this one is also by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This one speaks a lot more on the quantum side of things. It speaks a lot more about meditation, gives you a lot more types of meditation. So if you are going to read these books, I would suggest starting with You Are the Placebo, and then go to Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and then go to Becoming Supernatural. That was the order that I did it, and it made a lot of sense for me. It gave me the basis to dive into Becoming Supernatural, which is a lot deeper, makes your mind work a lot more. But it just, again, goes back into learning is just a group of neurons that become accustomed to firing together, and you have absolute control over what fires together. You have absolute control over feeling capable in your day or feeling like crap. You have control over the people that are in your life affecting you in a certain way, or becoming someone that they don't even want to associate with anymore because you're so different and you're on a completely different path, and they just fall away. And that's beautiful. That means you're moving forward. And emotions are just the chemical residue of experiences. The stronger the emotions that you feel, the stronger the chemical residue will be, which creates a lasting memory, which serves to change things. So we'll talk a lot more about creating a feeling state in the self-concept program, but I'm just trying to lay like the groundwork for this. And it also explains like why you're addicted to that person that broke your heart and that's so crappy to you, and why you're addicted to actions that really hurt you, and to guilt, and to, again, being late. That's something I struggle with, like that addiction to the adrenaline of being late. I hate that feeling, and yet my body does it over and over and over and over again, because again, it's that addiction. It's not my choice at that point. My body is doing what my body's doing, and my brain is just trying to play catch up. So those addictions prevent you from having new experiences, and I really encourage you to read these books and start to release that creative energy, because it takes so much of your brain power to fight these things every day and to live in the emotions of guilt and shame and inadequacy, and so much of these are taking up your creative energy. Meditation is an act of creation every single day in your life, and we will go through specific meditations and specific ways to start forming your self-concept day by day. Again, in that self-concept program, like that is just where I'm going to pour all of my heart and soul into. I'm so excited for that. But these resources are incredible. If you guys want a little bit more self-help mindset books, I would also really suggest reading Who Moved My Cheese and Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think all of these books together are going to be so helpful in moving you forward, in drenching your mind, literally submersing yourself in a new world, and just making that the new way that you think. Every single day in your life, you wake up and you go, what am I going to learn today? Firing new neural connections, learning new things, becoming a new person. This is your beginning. So those are my favorite resources that I know of so far. Surprisingly, an author and a speaker that I haven't read as much is Abraham Hicks. I've listened to some of her stuff, and she is incredible. She basically just speaks about more of this stuff, becoming a vortex for everything that you want. And you've heard her sounds on TikTok, like, everything I want is coming to me. Things are always working out for me. My life is meant to be easy. So her stuff is incredible as well. Very feel good, very motivating kind of things. There's always so much out there, but those are my favorites. So I will keep compiling more. I will keep learning, and I hope you guys keep learning as well. Next week, we're going to dive into how to make affirmations and how to make them personal and the effect that they're going to have on your life. But that is everything. So this has been BS with Bethany Simcoe. I will see you next week.